Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am here this morning at the Collaboration Summit, session 10. 10. Again, I can't believe it's the 10th session. I am really excited about this summit because this summit is a platform for all the graduates of the Collaboration 101 class to come on and share their experience, and then I get the opportunity to promote them. And our next graduate is the famous kitchen coach. She is the one who is taking, like, in a revolutionary way, taking kitchen remodeling to a whole different place, giving you the reins to do things that before you didn't have that opportunity. So welcome Camille Finan to the Collaboration Summit.
Thanks, Kim. Glad to be here.
Well, Camille, I've been asking everybody two questions right up front before we get into all things kitchen coach. What did you learn in Collaboration 101 class?
A lot of things, actually. I would say that I wrote like a little list because I had learned so many things. I loved that it's the fastest way, I think, that a very small business can kind of act like a big business and get the benefits of leverage. And so, for instance, in cabinetry, since I'm a cabinet maker and I'm small, I have to use leverage all the time, right? To pick up a sheet of plywood, to get cabinets on the wall, to pick up things that are much heavier than myself. So I'm used to the concept of using leverage to take something small and make something big happen. And I kind of feel like this class is the same way. It's taught me that in business, you can be a really small business, but if you have friends and you have combined reach with them and you have combined creativity and trying to figure out collaborations, you can really leverage your business significantly in a really fast, short amount of time. And it's really fun, actually. So I think the biggest thing is the amount of leverage you can get with collaborations. The other couple things are just like I've learned how to collaborate with my podcast, how to, really made me think much broader about the kinds of guests I could have on, and how I could cross promote it and really share pieces of information with different kinds of audiences that I never really thought about before. I learned how to collaborate on my kitchen coach class, which we're going to talk about, which is sort of collaborating with my students and collaborating with other business owners to promote that, but also sort of bring them in. A lot of it I just haven't had time to implement, but I've definitely learned how much reach you can have with a few group of people that you really trust and really like and want to help each other out. So that, and then I also liked the other couple things I learned was just like you're basically combining your resources for free, so you can quickly do things together with not a lot of money involved or no money involved. Whereas before I would have always thought, wow, you have to either be really, really big or you have to have a lot of money or, it has to be this big, huge formal thing. And so you really taught us that you can be really creative and get a lot of things done in really interesting ways for no money, just by collaborating with each other. So I learned that. And then the other thing I liked was, so I did like the creativity that went along with that. And then I really like that you're sharing a goal with somebody. Being business owners can be very, very lonely, very isolating, and you tend to only think about things the same way. You do things the same way every time, especially if it's worked, right? You do the same thing over and over again. And so this class really has shown me how the beauty of sharing a goal with someone else, even if it's short term or, like that part of it, I never thought about, oh, it's just for a week. It's just for a couple days. It's just for a month. It's, I really learned that the beauty of sharing a goal with another business friend is really, really fun to do that. It really opened my eyes to that. And I know all the students in the class feel that same way. So thank you so much that's a lot. I learned even more, but that's just what I put on a piece of paper this morning.
I love it. Well, I love your analogy of the leverage too, because that's it's very daunting when you start to think about how to even break into a market you're trying to break into. Yeah. And leverage is a secret weapon. I think collaboration is a leverage.
It's leveraging. Yeah, it's leveraging the resources of the group or the 2 or 3 or 4 people involved. I mean, there's just so many, there's so much power in that. I had no idea before this class.
Well, thank you for all of that. How did you, like, in particular benefit? Because you already have a thriving business, and you already, have been working on your kitchen coach stuff for a while. So how did it benefit you to be in this class?
Well, outside of learning all that stuff, well, like for instance, I've reached out to several people to be on my podcast, and how I'm going to market the podcast slightly differently by collaborating with different guests. I would have never done that. I would have never reached out to those people. I would have been scared to reach out to those people. I wouldn't have known what to say. I would have thought, oh, it has to be this big, huge, drawn out contractual agreement with a bunch of money involved, and I'm going to be committed to them for like a really long time. And I'm like, no, it's just like a couple of interviews or a series, or maybe you're cross promoting things together, or you're on their podcast, they're on your podcast. There's so many ways that I'm going to be able to use that. I've definitely been able to use it it's opened my eyes up to collaborating with people in general, being open to, being open to asking for help, receiving help, and giving help to others. That's basically how I think of collaboration now. So for me, like when I'm running my very first beta class, I really was able to, at the same time, think about how I'm collaborating with these students and really receiving their feedback and receiving their input, and thinking about that in a totally different way. And even thinking of, oh wow, some of these students I would bring back to collaborate with. I would have never thought of that before, right? So now I'm definitely going to do that. Some of the students that are like the top students that really, really love it, I'll just have them come back and help me teach the class, right? Or cross promote it, or I'll help them with their thing, right? So I've definitely did that. And then I've done, a couple little collaborations with some of the students in the group. Again, I would have never thought of totally different industries, and I would have only been thinking specific to what I'm doing. And so that has been able to benefit me directly. And I definitely expect, when I have a little more time, to be able to implement even more of those things. And then obviously the really obvious one, but if you're not in the class, we've all learned how to collaborate by doing interviews with each other, and specifically helping each other with some of the website some of the basically online marketing. That was really, really powerful. I had no idea the amount of reach that you could have by just 10 people or 5 people even sharing their information and doing it in a consolidated way, in a little bit of a strategic way for a short amount of time. I've definitely implemented that, and I definitely believe in that, and I definitely get the concept of that. And it's, I think just that's the biggest thing, is just removing the fear of asking for help, receiving help, and giving help when it's needed. That ability, that flow of resources in a group of people is really mind-boggling. Like I don't feel any fear or hesitation to reach out to someone within this group or outside of this group. I feel like very prepared to do that.
That's awesome.
Outside of the normal little regular intimidation, but I don't feel like it's completely out of my reach to do that at all.
Well, I'm glad it boosted your confidence in asking, because that's one of the that's one of the things that I've said forever and ever. It's always a no if you don't ask. Like, it's always a no.
Yeah. Well, and especially I think a lot of us in this class are introverts, right? I'm definitely an introvert, and so it is not my wheelhouse. It is not my comfort zone at all. And it's given me a safe place to play, and a safe place to test and try these new skills with people that believe in me and love me and want the best for me. And so it's been a really safe way to dip my toe into the water and swim out a little bit further, and then get in a canoe, and then get in a little sailboat, right? It's really, for introverts, collaboration is the thing. Like, I think a lot, like, you're an extrovert, you're very comfortable socially. So for you, this probably isn't that big of a stretch, just innately. But for people that are introverts, this is a major ask, a major stretch. And so I would highly recommend that somebody take this class. If you're an introvert, take Collaboration 101, because you will immediately feel safe and held and able to try something new that you've been scared to do before. So it's really, really good for introverts. So if you
Well,
can make
and I haven't.
me not be scared on camera and ask for things and help and collaborations and business, connections, it can help anybody.
Well, and I have to make a confession. I'm
Yeah.
actually an extroverted introvert
Oh, okay.
because I've had to practice to get here.
Yeah.
It was not intrinsic, I can tell you.
Well, you're doing a good job. Good job of faking it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I want to talk to you about your amazing kitchen coach self.
Mm-hmm.
You are the kitchen coach. So tell me what that means, because we throw around a lot of phrases, but that's something very significant that you are, demonstrating and actually bringing a revolution to the kitchen remodel industry.
So, yeah, so I'm a kitchen cabinet maker and I have been for a long time. And I'm the actual cabinet maker. So I know how to build the actual cabinets and spray them and install them. And I've been doing that for a long time, working with, thousands of women. And I really have loved it, but I'm ready to move on to another level. And I wanted to sort of share, I wanted to figure out a way to scale what I do one-on-one with someone into a much bigger environment and make a bigger impact. A lot of women get really taken advantage of in this industry. And I wanted to be able to help them and to help them, one, not be overwhelmed and sort of learn what happens in a kitchen remodel and be prepared, figure out what it's going to look like, figure out how much it's going to cost, and then figure out how to hire people without getting taken advantage of. So I have been working on this for a while and I finally started it and it's going great and I really love it. It's basically an online kitchen planning class. Takes place over a month, and a small group of women, we get together a small group of women, and I basically teach the class live online, and then they go off and do a little bit of their action steps, and then they come back and they get real live feedback from me. So it's been really, really fun to do the engagement with a group of women, talking about the same things I'm talking about, I have always been talking about, but really teaching a bigger group of women and watching them interact with each other has been really, really fun. So we've done our first beta test. Today is our final day of this first group, and I'm going to do another beta test with 10 more women. So it's free, and basically I just take you through the process, and you give me feedback on my class, and I give you feedback on your plan, and it's a true collaboration, and it's really fun. And we talk a bunch about kitchen design and tile and countertops and cabinetry and money and all that stuff. So yeah. So that's my goal, is to basically be able to, really revolutionize this industry so that women that don't live near me can get a taste of, can really be prepared to not be taken advantage of. And it's just really fun. It's just really fun to have a group of women all talking about kitchen design.
Well, and I think it's something that a lot of women put off because it's painful.
Yeah.
To be point blank, it's a painful process because we don't know what's possible. We think we know because we read magazines and we look at Pinterest and we see things. And then a contractor tells us, no, you can't have that. And it's confusing because maybe we don't know how to do that, but yet we've seen pictures that it's been done.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so not having the tools to go into that situation, you really can't get what you want from a contractor. You get kind of what they want based on
money,
their opinion.
Well, usually it's because they want to make the most amount of money. So they're going to suggest the things that typically are going to cost the most, right? That's generally what happens. It's just a linear footage price for them. They don't really, what's different about my course is I created a system called DFIO, which is designed from the inside out. And so what's really different is that I try to teach the women what's inside, what you put inside the cabinets and how the cabinets are created for those specific things is really what dictates what the cabinets should look like. So it's a very different process that I take them through. Instead of figuring out the outside part first, the really pretty parts, which is actually the easiest part to do, I really try to empower them to understand how the cabinets are supposed to function and to look at what they actually have in their kitchen and how to create a system around that so that the new cabinets take that into account, right? And then we still do the pretty stuff, So it's a really revolutionary way of doing a kitchen remodel. It's not been done before, and
Well,
certainly not online.
as you would say,
Yeah.
especially not online, but
Yeah.
especially not the function and the pretty, because that's
Yes.
the thing is I don't want to give up the pretty part.
No.
But
No.
I definitely don't
Yeah.
want to be trying to struggle. I love what you talk about the bottom cabinets.
Yeah.
I don't want to be struggling in the back of my cabinet, not choosing to use something that I need to be using.
Right.
You know,
If you just known that, if you just known that's what you need to use, you would have been like, oh, well, I would have just used that. Yeah. Yeah. So I make it really clear. And we've had one of the little upgrades that we've had is I know you know Cindy Lou, so this is a perfect example of collaboration, right? I asked Cindy Lou to make me a little kitchen planner, right? And so she
I
made
love it.
this really simple, cute, kind of quick thing for the girls to be able to cut out the shapes of the cabinets so that they can move them around. And that's a perfect example of a collaboration. I would have never thought of that. I would have never thought of asking a student for help. It was simple. It was free. I mean, I'm probably going to pay her something, right? Just because I appreciate her time. But it was a simple, in real time, quick, fast collaboration. And now all the other students in the class are going to be able to have this little PDF cut out. And it makes it easier for me on camera because I can really show them what it's going to look like quickly. And we can move stuff around like Barbie furniture, right? And so that's an example of a collaboration. So
Very awesome.
yeah.
And Cindy Lou is awesome about doing all kinds of things. She will jump in and help. Yeah.
She's fantastic. There's nothing she can't do. Yeah. And she's someone I wouldn't have ever met if it wasn't for you, right? In this class, I wouldn't have had a chance to work with her. And this is just this is only the first, it's one class and it's not a huge group of people. We're not talking 50 people, but it's powerful what can happen when you open yourself up for collaboration. I think literally every single person that is in business online should take your class because they will, literally, it will blow their mind what's possible.
Well, thank you for that. And I think it's funny because I didn't call it collaboration for a long time because I didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
I've been practicing this for about 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally figured out that's what it was, that's when it got clearer and clearer for me.
Right.
And then during the class, because this was the first group to come through the class, the clarity that came for me because we were co-creating. You all were asking questions because sometimes when we're really familiar with something, we forget like what it was like before we knew it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a sexy part of what Cindy Lou did for you in your class too, is that gave you clarity to help your students.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
Another thing, speaking of when you asked me what's a benefit or what's another benefit to me specifically is I'm definitely going to use so I have the Kitchen Coach brand, whatever you want to call it, but I also have another class where I teach power tools to women, right? And which is like another love of mine. And so that class has been in creation for a long time as well. I used to teach it offline. Now I'm going to move everything online. And so because of this class, Collaboration 101, I'm definitely going to plan on doing a beta test with that group. And I'm not even going to, I'm just going to immediately go to a beta group and collaborate with 5 or so of my top students to make that program as good as it can be and bring them back to help teach. So I'm already pre-thinking how I'm going to do that very differently than how I originally was going to do it. So, yeah.
Well, and most people don't realize that when you slow down, you actually speed up. When you slow down and you get something right, and you get something that people actually want, you don't have any trouble selling it.
Right.
We try to go in and create something we think is the thing, and then we have trouble selling it, and we don't know why. Yeah. And I think that's one of the collaboration secrets, basically, that's not really a secret.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's unknown to a lot of people, that if you will go in and create something based on what they need, it's so amazing because you've done like what, 4,000 or so kitchens?
Yes, many thousands of kitchens. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of kitchens.
Yeah.
That
It
gives
is.
you lots and lots of expertise, but I'm sure after 4,000 kitchens, you forget what it's like to like be the
Yes.
deer in the headlights of
Yep.
you
No,
got to
no.
make all
Yeah,
these
even
choices.
trying to know what that's like. It's still
Yeah.
not the same as being brand new doing it. Another thing about the Collaboration 101 class that I like, along with the fact that you're having, having people go through your program, is that you allow us to be messy. And so I think that's a really important part of this. If you're someone new and you're thinking about going through this class again, Collaboration 101 the second time, is that this when I say it's a safe place to try stuff, I mean it's a place where you can do things messy and not perfectly, and it just doesn't matter. Like, you let us do that and go through those little improvements kind of quickly and easily without any judgment. And that's a really important part of this process, I think, that doesn't get talked about enough, really. And I would have done it way sooner if there was a place that I could have done that, and I could have started small and tried stuff out that I wanted to try. So I think that's another really important part of this class, is that you get to do things really messy. And it just doesn't matter because you have all these people that love you and care for you and help you, and you just keep getting better and better and better. So it's just a very iterative process. And the faster you do that, even if it's small steps, the better you get really quickly. Yeah.
That's a key to really to getting to success at all,
Yeah.
is being willing to do things messy, because
Right.
messy is actually beautiful. I just
Yeah.
hashtagged that yesterday. Like, I think that should be a new thing for class, is the hashtag messy is beautiful. And
Yeah.
it's only because it's freeing. We get it stuck in our mind. It has to be a certain way, or it has
Right.
to look at a certain level, or we
Yeah.
won't be taken serious.
Yeah.
And the truth is, if we're transparent and it's messy, people will be endeared to you
Yeah.
versus being like pulled away from you. That's the thing that I think is a key to messy, is just being open about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and be in a class like this, though. Be in a place where you've got other people that are also being messy, also trying something that's new and scary. So I think that's the key, because very few of us would do that on our own. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't some brave souls out there, but most people don't. You just don't do it, right? You just don't do it. Your fear is too great, and you just keep putting it off. So this class allows you a very safe kindergarten playground to play on all the equipment, try out
that,
all the stuff, and then get better and better and better on it, right?
well, when you're led by a kindergarten princess, that's what happens.
There you go.
You've been a kindergarten playground.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I appreciate all those things you said, though, because
Yeah.
this has been an amazing journey on this side as well, because like all of you helped me create a better experience even than this one for the next group,
Right.
because of the feedback and because of watching you guys, do amazing things. There are so many collaborations that came out of this class because of the group getting together.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that makes me the proudest, is the people that are going on and doing things with each other
Mm-hmm.
that don't have anything to do with me anymore. Like,
Right.
that's a huge deal,
Yeah.
because I don't want to create people who can't do this without me. I want to create other people who teach how to do this with other people.
Right. Well,
Like,
I'm already looking forward to your 102 class. So after I actually implement and try to do literally all the stuff that I learned in the class, I'm already looking forward to like a more advanced class.
well,
Like where you're reaching for bigger things. So I'm already excited. Sign me up, coach.
well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. If someone is interested in redoing their kitchen the kitchen coach way,
Mm-hmm.
do they just contact you, or do you have a website, or do you have a link, or do you have something that they can get in contact with you?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll put it's Kitchen Coach is so the Facebook page is the easiest way, and it's Kitchen Coach Online is the Facebook username, and I'll put the link in this video. And we're looking forward to in October we're going to do another 10 women, so it's free. It's another beta test, and by the end of it, you'll come out with a plan. You'll know what your kitchen's going to look like, how it's going to function, what the cabinets are going to be like, how much it's going to cost. And any other questions that you just have, any fears or things you're worried about, I can answer all those things live. So there's that feedback part has been a big part of the class that I didn't really anticipate. That's been kind of the one of the really fun parts for me. And so I love all that engaging stuff that happens when we're live. And yeah, so anybody, whoever the first 10 people are, I'll take them anywhere in the country. Doesn't matter where you live.
Or New Zealand.
Huh?
Or New Zealand. Cindy lives in New Zealand.
One of the students is in New Zealand. She's been a trooper. I don't know how she gets up so early to see all. She hasn't missed a single live. So yeah, so that's what we'll be doing, and I'm hoping to do. I'm expecting to do 4 beta tests before I do the real launch. That's what I'm expecting to do.
That's awesome. It ought to be like fun, like for all of you and like all of the group, and the community part too is not going through it alone. I think it's very sexy.
Yeah. I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna do because it's still a lot to learn. In a month, there's and I've taken a lot of the content out. It's just a lot to process, and it's a lot because we all have very busy lives, right? It's not like these women are just sitting around all day. So I'm gonna add on a private Facebook group where people can stay on for another month or two, so they can still. I've decided to add office hours, so once a week I'm going to go in there and do office hours and do Q&A, and the people that are took the class and are maybe did half of it or did 3/4 of it, are still trying to finish stuff and wrap stuff up, or maybe they got better quotes in and they want me to look at their quotes to see if it's a good number. I'm going to still do that part and do that in the group after the class is actually over. So I'm hoping to have quite a few women in that group, and they can all talk to each other and get feedback. And so even after the class ends, you can still be like part of this little community.
That's very
it's still a big undertaking, right? It's a big undertaking. So I don't want them to feel that the class is over and that's it, right? And if you didn't quite get everything, then you're done. So yeah.
That's a lot to learn in a month.
It's a lot, and it's a lot to, you're relying on other people. You have to wait to get quotes back from people. You have to have time to go and get your materials and look at samples. And, there's things that you have to do, and sometimes it just doesn't all work out exactly on the day of the class. So, yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm proud of you for taking a huge leap of faith and doing something in a different way than anyone's ever done before.
Yeah. No, I'm really loving it. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work, but I actually really, really love the real-time engagement and feedback, and it feels just like kind of what I'm doing with a real client, but I'm doing it with a group of people at the same time, and being able to watch one woman watch another woman's design happening in front of her is really exciting and interesting. It's just a really fun way to do a kitchen plan, right? So yeah.
I love it.
Even for me, it's re-sparked my excitement in kitchens, right? Because I've done a lot of kitchens, but even for me, it's really fun and exciting.
Well, good. Yeah. We don't want you to get bored of all people.
No. And I'm definitely going to use your strategy with collaboration and bring in some special speakers. Like the next class, I'm going to, have like an electrician come in, and I'm going to interview him a little bit about the most common, mistakes that happen in electrical when people remodel, a plumber. I'm going to have a kitchen designer come in, like an interior decorator come in and talk about colors. So those are collaborations that I wouldn't have thought of before, and I'm definitely going to do that in the second class. So the second class will be even better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's very exciting. I can't wait to hear all the news from that class too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you for being on the Collaboration Summit today, and thank you for taking the Collaboration 101 class.
Thank you so much for creating it. I loved it.
Well, if you're watching today and you need your kitchen remodeled, Camille, the famous kitchen coach, is your girl. You need to go and connect with her on Facebook. She said she would put the link in the comments, so be sure and go over and like her page. It's a brand new page, so don't be surprised by the numbers because she just started it. Mm-hmm. So don't let that scare you off. Get on there and help her by liking it and following her journey. And messy is beautiful in all of these cases. So come back for the next session. We have one final session today on the Collaboration Summit. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. See you guys in a little bit.